workplace can be a difficult place to be yourself when you're an LGBT individual.
Real fears during this recession. Can you still be true to you and still keep your job? We're devoting this edition of 365 to your money, how being gay affects your job, your career, and your family, even your financial and sometimes your physical health. We begin with startling new numbers about the office closet and what you're saying about coming out at work. Itai Had has the story from Brooklyn. Itai.
Hey Ross, you'd think in 2009 this wouldn't be such an issue, but a new study shows a lot of people are still struggling with the decision to come out at work. And that includes people whose boss is God. 5 years ago, Dan Dice had somewhat of a career change. He went from being a criminal defense lawyer to joining the seminary. And just like any other hardworking person, Dan is all about his next promotion, becoming an Episcopal priest.
The seminary was amazingly welcoming.
Rejoice and sing now all around earth.
But even though he works for one of the most gay-friendly churches in America and has been out for years, Dan hasn't said one word about his sexuality to his congregation.
I'm not yet ordained, and so I have concerns about ruffling feathers.
It's not that he's ashamed, but his parish is mostly from the West Indies. He worries that coming out could make things difficult. Are there any worries at all that because you don't come out, perhaps you can't do your job as well?
That's entirely possible, actually. When I am a most effective preacher is when I'm being most honest with myself.
A recent study shows 44% of gay people feel unable to talk freely to their coworkers about their partners. A whopping 78% don't feel comfortable bringing their partners to corporate social events.
That statistic is very staggering. In this economic times, we're finding that more and more people are staying closeted. They don't want to add one more factor to the possible reason why someone might not hire them.
Especially since the same study found that 65% of gay people said they face some form of discrimination at work. Half of those surveyed heard an anti-gay joke at the office.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Jennifer Brown is a consultant for Fortune 500 companies. She says that many gay men and women don't realize that their sexuality can be a career asset.
Companies need you these days just as much as you need them. As companies struggle to remain innovative and remain cutting edge, they're recognizing that they need to look internally to talent, and the more diverse that talent is, the more likely they are to come up with the next great product.
That said, not every company is gaga for gays.
Do your homework first. Research on HRC, which is the Human Rights Campaign, and understand where the company sits on the Corporate Equality Index. You'll need to understand what protections are in place for you should you choose to work there.
Now, Dan hopes that once he's ordained, he'll be placed with a new parish, one where being gay isn't an issue. When will that happen? In his words, not mine. Only God knows. Ross?